You're walking down the street. Nothing special is happening, just an ordinary day. And suddenly, a dog you've never seen before walks toward you. You don't know this dog. You don't know its owner. A second ago, you were thinking about work, about errands, about anything at all. And in the next second, your hand is already reaching out to pet it. You didn't decide to do this. You didn't think, I'm going to pet this dog now. Your body did it before your mind even caught up. Stop for a second and think, have you ever actually chosen whether to pet an animal or not? Or does it just happen on its own? This isn't a one-off case or a personal quirk. It happens to people in Japan, Brazil, Norway, Kenya, everywhere. People from different cultures, different religions, different upbringings, all reach out to pet an animal the moment it's nearby. And it's not just dogs. We pet cats, we pet rabbits, we reach for horses. We melt over capybaras and want to touch them. Some people even try to pet lizards. Creatures with no fur, no warmth, no expressive face, nothing that should logically pull us in. So here's the question. Why? Why does the human brain, the same brain that builds rockets, writes symphonies, and creates artificial intelligence, turn into a bundle of simple reflexes the moment it meets an animal? Why does rational thought switch off, replaced by something older and far more powerful? Most people answer this question with one phrase, because it's cute. And usually the conversation stops there. The answer seems obvious, so nobody digs deeper. But if you actually start looking into it, it turns out just cute isn't really an answer at all. It's only the surface. Behind it is a specific mechanism in the brain, specific nerve fibers in the skin, a specific hormone released the moment of touch, and even a specific evolutionary history spanning tens of thousands of years. This behavior isn't learned. It isn't taught in school. A child who has never in their life seen anyone pet an animal will still reach out to pet a puppy the first time they meet one. It's rooted deeper than culture or upbringing. It's rooted in biology. And here's the most interesting part. It works both ways. While you're petting an animal, something changes not just in your head, but in theirs too. In this video, we'll break down exactly what happens in the brain, the skin, and the body of a human in that moment when a hand reaches out to pet an animal. Why this feeling can't be controlled, where it came from, and why, in truth, you never really had a choice about whether to pet that dog. Let's start with the simplest explanation that comes to mind. It's just cute. And it seems logical enough. Big eyes, a round little face, clumsy movements. How could you not melt? But science has a far more precise answer, and it dates back to 1943. Austrian scientist Konrad Lorenz noticed a pattern. A certain set of facial features, big eyes, a small chin, round cheeks, a large head relative to the body, triggers an almost automatic urge to care for something in adults. He called this the Kindchen schema, which in English translates to the baby schema. And the key point is that it's not about any specific child. It's about a set of visual features that trigger a reaction in the adult brain, regardless of who those features actually belong to. And here's where it gets really interesting. The brain doesn't distinguish between species. It doesn't think, okay, this is a puppy, not a human baby, so I won't react. It simply reads the shape, big eyes, small nose, round face, and switches on the very same caregiving program it uses for a human infant. That's exactly why puppies, kittens, baby rabbits, and even baby pandas trigger almost the same feeling of adoration in us as a human baby does. The brain isn't responding to the species, it's responding to the geometry of the face. And this isn't just a century-old theory. Modern science has confirmed it using brain imaging. When people are shown photos of cute animals, the same brain regions activate that are responsible for feelings of pleasure and emotional significance. These are the same regions that light up when a person receives a reward, like delicious food or money. So the reaction to cuteness isn't just a nice turn of phrase, it's a specific, measurable event in the brain. Scientists can literally see on scans how certain areas light up when someone looks at a puppy with big eyes. This means the desire to pet an animal actually begins before the touch even happens. It's triggered the moment we simply see its face. The brain recognizes a familiar shape, switches on an ancient caregiving instinct, and the body starts preparing for contact before the hand even moves. But here's the important part. Sight alone isn't enough to explain the full strength of this pull. It's one thing to feel a moment of awe looking at a photo on your phone, and a completely different thing to feel an overwhelming urge to touch a living creature right next to you. And this is where it's no longer about sight, but about touch. Because the real magic doesn't start when we see an animal, it starts when we touch it. We've covered why we're drawn to look at an animal, but looking alone isn't enough. The real pull begins the moment a hand touches fur. And this is where it's no longer about sight, but about touch. And touch is far more complex than it seems. We tend to think of touch as one simple sense. You touch something, you feel it. But in reality, it's a whole complex of different receptors in the skin. Some respond to pressure, others to vibration, others to texture, others to temperature. Among them is a special type of nerve fiber that scientists didn't discover right away. They're called C-tactile afferents. They're specifically tuned to slow, gentle stroking at a speed of roughly 1 to 10 centimeters per second. That's exactly the speed at which we stroke a cat, a dog, or any other furry creature. Here's the important part. These fibers aren't connected to the brain regions responsible for physical sensation. They're connected to the regions responsible for emotion and social bonding. So when you slowly run your hand over fur, your body is sending a signal of emotional closeness straight to the brain. That's exactly why animal fur fits this mechanism so perfectly. Stroking fur literally activates the brain's social bonding system, the very same system that operates between close people. And this is where the hormone oxytocin comes in, often called the love hormone or the bonding hormone. When a person pets an animal, their oxytocin levels rise. But here's the surprising part. The exact same thing happens in the animal too. It's a mutual two-way process. Both human and pet become chemically closer in that moment. It's also worth explaining why we're so drawn specifically to things that are soft and warm. The association soft equals safe is formed in humans back in infancy. Warmth to the brain is a signal of alive, real, not dangerous. Combine softness and warmth, and you get an almost guaranteed trigger for calm and trust. Researchers at Yale University discovered a strange phenomenon they called cute aggression. This is the urge, when seeing something extremely cute, to almost squeeze or smother it with affection. It isn't cruelty, it's a regulatory mechanism, the brain managing an overwhelming surge of positive emotion. So, touching an animal isn't just a pleasant sensation, it's an entire chain reaction. Special nerve fibers, a bonding hormone, ancient associations with safety, a built-in defense against emotional overload. All of this happens in just a few seconds, while you're simply petting a dog on the street. It might seem like the urge to pet animals is a purely human trait, but that's not the case. Similar behavior shows up in other primates too. Capuchins, bonobos, gorillas, all of them are capable of showing tenderness toward other species with no obvious survival benefit. It's not a tool for getting food or protection, it's simply affection for its own sake. The most famous example is the gorilla named Coco, who could communicate using sign language. At one point, she asked for a kitten as a gift, took care of it, gave it a name, played with it. When the kitten died, Coco genuinely grieved, documented by the scientists who worked with her. It's a striking example that bonding through touch and care isn't a human invention. It's something deeper. When it comes to humans specifically, the longest and closest relationship formed with dogs. This history spans somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years of shared evolution. Dogs aren't just tamed wolves. Over thousands of years, they developed an unusually strong sensitivity to human signals. They read gestures, eye direction, and tone of voice far better than wolves do, even wolves raised by humans from birth. No matter how tame a wolf becomes, it will never understand humans the way a dog does. Dogs developed a specific facial muscle through evolution that wolves don't have, the levator anguli oculi medialis. Its only function is to raise the inner eyebrow, creating that famous puppy dog eyes look. Scientists believe this muscle evolved because dogs with this expression got more attention, care, and food from humans. This look is evolutionarily aimed at triggering our urge to pet and care for them. We usually think humans domesticated dogs, but looking closer, the process went both ways. Dogs were adapting to us too, learning to read us, even changing physically to trigger the reaction they needed. So it would be more accurate to say, we didn't domesticate dogs. We domesticated each other. We've covered where this pull comes from, but one question remains. Why does any of this matter today? A lack of touch isn't abstract. It's a very real source of stress for the body. The human body is built to need physical touch. When it's missing, that shows up on a physiological level. Scientists have compared people who have pets with people who don't, and the difference is noticeable. Pet owners show better mental health, lower cortisol, fewer signs of depression and anxiety. This effect is strongest in people living alone, where an animal becomes a vital source of contact. This isn't just statistics. It's already used in practice. Hospitals use animal-assisted therapy to reduce patients' pain and anxiety. Schools use therapy dogs to help children manage stress before exams or difficult moments. What's striking is how fast the effect kicks in, not weeks, just minutes. Scientists have recorded measurable changes in cortisol and oxytocin after just 10 to 15 minutes with an animal. A few minutes of petting, and the body shifts. Stress hormone drops, bonding hormone rises. Put it all together, touch isn't just a nice little extra. It's an ancient way mammals have used for millions of years to say one thing: you are safe. This mechanism wasn't built for humans or dogs specifically. It's far older than either of us. What's actually new is the separation between humans and the rest of the animal world. Cities, apartments, desk jobs, life without constant contact with nature, all appeared recently on an evolutionary timescale. Just a few thousand years compared to hundreds of thousands living side by side with animals. Our nervous system hasn't had time to adapt. It's still wired for touch, warmth, softness, the presence of a living creature nearby. So when a dog walks by and your hand reaches out on its own, that's not weakness, not sentimentality. That's a system millions of years old, still doing exactly what it was built to do. And honestly, you never really had a chance not to pet that dog.